Buon pomeriggio! Welcome to Clelia's Cucina Italiana. Today we're going to do a nice dish that I think that everybody will like. We're going to make risotto, and I'm going to use some of this nice butternut squash since this is the time of the year. And not just that, we're going to do some beef tenderloin with a little bit of butternut squash sauce. That's going to be just delicious. Okay, this is going to take a while, so we're going to get started right away. Okay, we have here 2 cups of arborio rice. Arborio, which is an Italian rice. For risotto, you really need this kind of rice. Okay, so what I have here is 1 small onion that I am browning a little bit here with a tablespoon of oil and about a couple tablespoons of butter. Okay, you really have to use some butter for this particular recipe because it just gives a much better flavor. So what we're going to do, we're going to add the 2 cups of rice and we're going to toast it for a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put it right here. And we're just going to swish it around here until it kind of put this a little higher for now. Until it kind of gets coated with the oil and the butter. Okay, and also you have to use kind of hot simmering broth, chicken broth. You can use chicken broth. In this case, I'm using chicken broth today, but you can use vegetable broth if you want, you know, and all you do with the vegetable broth, you can make your own. You can put a carrot, an onion, and a piece of celery and just let it, you know, boil and cook for a while. A little salt and some peppercorns, and you can do that very easily. And to that, we add about, say, to start with, we just use about maybe a half a cup of dry white wine. Good wine. Okay? And we wait until this is absorbed. And we can put it on medium high for a while like that. And you just, if it sticks a little bit, you can just lower it a little bit. So that's what we're doing now. We're just waiting for the wine to absorb into the rice. And, you know, when we add the chicken broth or vegetable broth, whatever you're going to use, we're going to use like maybe a couple ladles at a time because we want it to absorb slowly. And then as soon as it looks absorbed, then you add a little bit more. So it's a little process to do that. Okay, here I have, since we're going to use the butternut squash, I have, believe it or not, these are 3 cups. And I roasted it in the oven. And for about this much, it takes a good half hour at 400. Okay, so I put a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt and just stir it in maybe a couple of times in the meantime. All right, so that's what we have here. I'm probably not going to use all 3. I'm going to use some of it because I'm going to use a little bit for the sauce for the beef tenderloin. Okay? So at least 2 cups, I would say, I would use for the rice. Okay, so we're done with that. We'll get rid of this. And see, that's getting nice and dry. So see, now it's time to add a little bit of the chicken broth. See? And I'm just going to add a couple of ladles. All right, here we go. And while this is getting done, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the beef tenderloin here. It sticks to it here. Okay, we're going to use a little bit of oil, maybe a tablespoon or so, and start this on high, and maybe a couple tablespoons of butter. Okay, and also on the rice, once it's kind of done, we're gonna put a couple more pads of butter to make it nice and creamy. So This is by no means a dietetic dish. Okay, also I'm going to add a little bit of thyme, but you can add, whatever spice you like. I happen to love thyme. I mean, it goes really nice with the rice. Okay. Now this is a beef tenderloin. There were two nice pieces, nice and thick, but for time, and I really don't like a real thick piece of meat, but you can cook the tenderloin the way it comes, I mean, in a big, high chunk. So this I made 4 of them because I cut them in half, like I said. Now I'm going to keep this in high because I want it to really sear. Okay, and this shouldn't take too long because we really don't want it, too, I don't know how you like it, but I don't want it too cooked. Okay, and I had, as I said, about 1 tablespoon of oil and a couple tablespoons of butter. Okay, regular butter, not unsalted. And that shouldn't take too long. I just want a nice sear. Really, really high. Okay. And the rice is getting nice and dry. See what I mean? So you really have to be right here. Couple ladles at a time. Make sure you keep the meat on high. All right. And you can do this as one dish, or you can have it as a side dish like we're going to do today. There, nice. Beautiful. There we are. Very slow process with this, but the end results are really good. Okay, it's doing beautiful. And I think that's done. And we can warm it up a little more. We take it out and we want to keep it hot. We want to keep it warm. Put some foil or put it in the oven, but just keep it hot. Okay, in that now we're going to add this, maybe it depends on the size of the shallot, like a half a shallot or a whole small one, minced very, very fine. Okay. And we can get all the beautiful, we can add a little bit more butter, and we can get all the beautiful flavor from the meat. See? We want to lower it a little bit. We really don't want to burn that. We just want it to get nice and brown a little bit to get all the nice bits from the beef. So that adds flavor to it. See? Beautiful. Okay, at this point I'm going to add a little bit of cognac or brandy, whatever you have, to deglaze the pan. Say maybe a third of a cup or a quarter of a cup, and we just let it deglaze. Oh, that looks pretty nice to me. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit of salt to your taste, and a little salt to the risotto here too. I'm just going to put a little bit of chicken broth in the sauce here. A little bit more here. Now we're going to add a little bit of this squash. There we are. And we just kind of let it cook. And to this, I'm going to add a little bit of heavy cream to make it even more delicious. Here we are. Okay. And the rice is just about done. We are in good shape here. Okay, now that the rice is just about done, I'm gonna put in the squash. Like so, see? And I'm gonna just leave it on so it can incorporate and get some of the flavor in. See? That looks nice and creamy now. Okay, and the sauce looks really good. And I'm not done with that, so what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to put it in this hand blender so we can cream the squash. I should really use the other ladle because I don't want the pan to scratch. Okay, here we are. Okay, so here we are. Okay, we're just gonna blend this a little bit so it stays nice and creamy. Okay, we're gonna put it in here and let it boil down a little bit more. There, oh, that looks so nice and creamy now. Beautiful, that's just what we wanted. Okay, while the sauce is getting nice and reduced, we are all done with the rice here. I'm gonna turn it off and I'm gonna put it right here so you can see just what I'm going to do. Okay, here we are. Look how nice and creamy and beautiful it looks. Now to that we're gonna add some nice grated Parmigiano Reggiano. And do you notice that I take it out of the stove before I add the cheese, okay? And this is probably about a cup that I grated, all right? Or even a little more. Oh, this looks so delicious. Now, why wouldn't this be good? Look how good that is. Ah, delicious. And to that, we're gonna add a little bit more butter. I'm gonna put this down. Okay, here we are. Risotto con zucca, which means squash. Okay, this is a butternut squash, but you can use pumpkin. You know, if you have another squash that you like better, except zucchini. I mean, we want to use this because it's that time of year. Does it look beautiful, really? I think so. I'm gonna add it here. Oh, so good. And this can be like a one dish, really. Can have a nice salad on the side. It will be a one dish dinner. Okay, so that's done. And now I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Grate a little bit more cheese on top. Like so. I closed this so good that it won't open now. Okay, here we go. We could just put a few of these to make it look nice. And there we are. Risotto con zucca. It's beautiful. There we are. And now, another dish that's going to be really good. I'm going to put some of this delicious sauce on the bottom here. And then serve the meat like so. What do you think of that, huh? Put a little more sauce on top. Nice butternut squash. Okay. And maybe a little bit of this on top. Just a few. Like so. A little more branch here. And here we are with the beef tenderloin with the butternut squash sauce. Really delicious. Until next time, this is Clelia. Buon appetito e arrivederci alla prossima volta. Now try this and happy Thanksgiving. Ciao!